Okay, so this is day 69 of being housed. Today is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. And so this will be like the fourth. I want to do a countdown, the final 5 days. So day 65 to day 70, the countdown of some of the things that have helped me through that crisis situation. So the prevention of, I did dip into homelessness, but I didn't remain in homelessness. I didn't go into survival mode. And, from where I was 10 plus weeks ago, unhoused, attacked constantly. And there's a lot of pressure, a lot of, it was a very, very, one of the most difficult times in my life. And from there to where I am now, it's not that I'm thinking more highly of myself. What I mean by where I am now is just with a mind that's set on just re-entering the job force. I want to contribute. I desire love. I desire peace. I desire to live in peace with the people around me. I'm not a victim. Just one second, I gotta blow my nose. Pardon me. I went through a circumstance, and it doesn't make me any less than anybody else. It's circumstance I went through, and I'll come through stronger. The continuance of losing weight and of sharpening mental acuity and my focus, and just enduring through that crises situation or the trial, and then coming out with really good learning lessons that I can apply, that are investment in everything that I'll be doing. So it's as opposed to going into that pit or falling down and becoming bitter, becoming angry, and oh goodness, like it can get worse and worse and worse. And I always find in my life I have to be very thankful and grateful to the Lord whenever I think like, oh goodness, it's as worse as it could get. It always seems like it could get worse, but the flip side is true too. I can always build upon the commands of Jesus, the wonderful foundation that He's provided, and it can always get better as well. But anyways, I want to talk about, so today, so this will be number 4, I want to talk about resilience, or resiliency, and how important it is. And so just the word resilient, so that's like the ability to withstand or recover from a difficult situation or circumstance. And I find like it's such a good word. It's a word that's packed with a lot of really good meaning. A word that actually just reveals a lot of things that are often I wouldn't necessarily say hidden, but they're not overly seen, like they're internal. And I find, we have the different adages and different cliches, different idioms, expressions, so on and so forth. And a lot of them, either I would say they lack accuracy, or they're not as accurate as we might think. And I'll give an example. Like, I never use the word devil's advocate anymore, because that's an oxymoron. The devil doesn't advocate, and I wouldn't advocate for any lies, so instead of using that word, I use a contrarian perspective. It's much more accurate. Let's see here. Oh, you hear me say this quite often. Oh, well, this is a perfect one. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. There's absolutely no truth in that. You don't have to live too long and be exposed to too much abuse, whether it be both verbal and physical abuse, to understand that verbal abuse can have even longer lasting effects and impacts on the person than physical abuse. Your bones, even a broken bone, can be reset and it can grow back stronger. But if somebody, say like a parent, I remember talking with a young woman, I used to work with this young woman, and I remember at one point she just kind of mumbled it, and I was like, oh sorry, and she's like, oh sorry, I don't know why I just said that, and she's like, and what she said, and I still remember this was quite a while ago, but she said, for a smart girl you sure are stupid. And she's like, sorry, she's like, sometimes I seem to lack confidence. She's like, my father used to be really hard on me, and he would always say, for such a smart girl you sure are stupid. And she's like, I find like today, every time I go to do something, it's like I trip over that and I start second guessing myself. That's an example of sticks and stones may break my bones, but from the mouth our words are either blessings or curses, or from the mouth is life or death. And it's really important to understand that. And so anyway, it's the same thing I find with this, resilience is so important. It can be so difficult. There can be some very cruel things that happen, and you're going to find when you're going through difficult situations, that is when you're going to have the biggest target on your back. That is when, the whole world will seem like it's crumbling down. That is when the ones that seem to be friends with you or befriended you, well, all of a sudden you're gonna see the betrayal. But then you look back and you say, well, I never really was betrayed. They always revealed that character, or that lack of character, but I overlooked that lack of character because I was befriended, or because they ingratiated themselves to me. And much like a sycophant, I went for the pleasing words and the kind gestures that were hollow and sincere and were riddled with manipulation. So there's a lot of good things like to learn, but anyway, so my whole point with all this is, those things can really sting, they can really hurt you, but they seem to happen, like they seem to compound and compile when you're already down, when you've already taken a blow or taken a hit. It's similar to a bunch of folks that might have a verbal onslaught that they release upon you. It will probably happen after somebody else has, maybe slandered you or gossiped about you or taken a cheap shot at you. So, but I find with resilience, it's not just the ability to withstand. So when these attacks come in, when you're going through really, really adverse or difficult situations, it's not just the ability to withstand. I think that's what is primarily noted with that with any expression that includes resilience. And it's true. There's truth to that, but it also includes. Sorry, my shorts or my pants are falling off. Oop! Trying to put my flash on there. Okay. Oh, I'm hitting buttons on my phone. Okay, there we go. But it's also the ability to recover. And it's very important to note that to withstand or endure something means an attack's coming at you. Say like somebody's yelling at you. You put your head down, you look at the floor, so you break eye contact so you don't appear threatening. You put your hands down in a relaxed manner in the pocket so there's no form of a threat. They're yelling at you, you're protecting your heart, you're not receiving and coming to agreement with what they're saying. They're yelling, and then they leave, and then you move forward, and it's kind of like water off a duck's back. None of those words have penetrated, and none of those words come forth with you. You withstood that verbal onslaught or that verbal attack. Versus, same thing happens, but it's somebody that is closer to you. Somebody who might be abusing the power that they have in your life, somebody who might be abusing the privilege that they have to speak into your life, and they take an opportunity to taint or poison the words that they're speaking as they're speaking to you, and those words get in and they start to have a very draining and crippling effect, much like just drinking a bottle with that had pure water and now has trace amounts of impurities or contaminants in it. It's weakening you. And then drinking another bottle that has higher levels of impurities or contaminants, and the impact is much, much stronger. And then drinking another bottle, and then finally it's above the threshold of of ignorance, and you realize, oh goodness, this person is lacing their words or this the water that's supposed to be pure, or the stream that's supposed to be pure, with contaminants and with impurities. And then you're down and out, and or down and potentially out. It's the ability to quickly recover, to get back to where you were, and to continue moving forward, so that you don't bring these things forth with you, so you don't become bitter and then bring your walls up and start shutting everybody else out. You don't become bitter and then feel and have this feeling that is easily justified, or an easily justifiable feeling that you're a victim. You don't put your walls up and then start feeling like you need to defend yourself from everyone, and then in that part of your defense mechanism is, I'm going to lock myself inside my room. Have you seen how terrible people are? I'm not going to be around people. I'm going to lock myself inside my room, which means you're motivated and you're ruled by the things that actually took place 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years prior. So you didn't recover. To recover is to get back to homeostasis. To recover is to be back to the state that you were prior to the attack, or prior to the ingestion of the contaminants, or the ingestion of the impurities. But also, you don't walk around in a weakened state where you're very hyper fragile and you're just constantly leaning on everything and everyone because you haven't fully recovered. And then all of a sudden you feel rejected. All of a sudden you feel and you believe, I can't do this, I can't handle that, I can't do this, I can't handle that. So then your current state is a predictor or predicator of any future blessings or any future possibilities or any future opportunities. And then you come into agreement with, well, I can't because this is the way I am right now in this weakened state, versus I need to recover. So then I'm in a position, my strength has been fully recovered, and I'm able to, continue the way I was able to continue before this attack happened, before this major event took place, before this cruel word was spoken, before this abuse happened, etc., etc. And then lastly is it doesn't jade you or change you into the very same thing that deflated or crippled you. When you recover, you realize, I don't ever want to do this to anybody else, and oh goodness, it's so difficult to recover. God gets all the glory. It's only by having my faith fully trusted in everything that He's speaking in the moment, but also all that He's said, all that's written about Him in the Holy Scriptures. So I'm focusing on His promises, and I'm believing and coming into agreement with His promises, as opposed to what tradition tells me, to what my mind tries to understand or tries to make sense of regarding what has taken place. And so pardon me. So then you're able to not only come through, but you have hope. There's more. There's more reason to come through and to recover quickly, because you want to get right back to where you were headed. I think of like childlike innocence. You want to return to the childlike innocence that you held when you were a child. You want to return to the childlike curiosity